We're here today to talk about Upside Down Magic. Can you tell me more about the audition process for the project?
It was strange. I was in the middle of shooting an episode for Raven's Home, and we went on a lunch break, and we drove over to the Disney building for an audition for Upside Down Magic. And so it was a lot going on, but I had fun. It was my second, I think, real audition for the movie. It was more of a chemistry read with some of my other classmates. But yeah, I mean, it was a lot going on, but I had fun. I definitely had fun.
That's awesome. So do you remember like who you were with or what your reaction was when you found out that you booked the part?
Yeah, I think the the only auditions that I did besides just me were with Ellie and Allison, who play Elliot and Pepper, and then a chemistry read with Bella, who plays Nori. So those were two separate auditions, I think on the same day, but there were two separate auditions. And then we found out a couple weeks later, my mom got a phone call. She found out that I got the part. And I wasn't thinking about it. I wasn't in the mindset because, a couple months had passed, or not a couple months, like a few weeks had passed. And so I was stoked. I mean, I was beyond happy because I got to shoot a movie in Vancouver. And that's like a dream.
Have you ever been there before or was that your first time when you were filming the movie?
No, it was my first time going to Vancouver. And so I was pretty happy,
Did you get to
pretty
explore
excited.
a little bit or where you were filming when you were there?
We shot in the city of Vancouver and then also on Vancouver Island or Victoria Island.
Oh, okay.
And so on our off time, on the few off days, my friends and I, or my castmates and I, like to go around and explore the city, go shopping, and when we were on the island, um, we were in a secluded little bay area, but the spots where we were shooting had a lot of greenery, a lot of lush surroundings. So we like to explore the campus of Sage in our off time, like during lunch and all that.
Fun. And I know like the sets in the movie were extremely amazing. What was your reaction when you first saw them all?
It was, I mean, to construct something that looks so real, and then I don't know, it was crazy because we shot on location for a lot of the scenes at Sage and in the woods and stuff, but we also had a warehouse that we went to back in Vancouver where like the UDM bunkhouse and I think Nori's bedroom and sets like that, UDM classroom. So those sets were built on a warehouse, and we all got to see it together for the first time we were shooting. And I mean, it's props to those guys, the guys that built the set. 'Cause they were really well done.
Definitely, I also agree with that. So what can you tell me about your character in the film?
He's a quiet, kind of introverted character, certainly at first, kind of like myself.
Mhm.
But he's an upside down flyer, and I think in the beginning he knows that he's not gonna fit in with the other Sage students, and that's what kind of keeps him quiet, kind of reserved. But as the movie progresses, I think he comes out of his shell a little more, starts to open up to the people around him, and gets to know the other EDMs, and they form a really tight bond.
Definitely. You mentioned that you're kind of like your character, but not. What did you do to prepare for your character study for the role?
Definitely. Well, I mean, a lot of rehearsing with my fellow castmates. We ran lines a lot before the scenes we shot, and then of course, in our off time, like during school, sometimes we'd run lines. Other than that, it was just a lot of preparation right before we shot the scene. Like running over lines really quickly, or just getting in the zone, getting into character. For me, I don't do a whole lot of I don't like to run lines over and over again because I don't want them to get worn out in my head. I want them to be kind of fresh and instinctive. But yeah, that's pretty much what goes into my preparation.
And your character's super cool because you're a flyer. What was it like getting to fly in the movie? Can you tell me more about that process and what that was like?
Yeah, so I mean, it's a dream come true being able to fly. I mean, just that in itself was awesome. But what went into it was, well, it was a lot of machinery. Not really. Yeah, I guess it was machinery. It's like green screen stuff, and they put me for a lot of the scenes where I was flying. They put me on kind of a big metal seesaw. So I was on one end, and then we had guys on the other end, and they would push down on one side, and I would go up. And so I wasn't like up in the air soaring around. I was pretty close to the ground, but I mean, still flying, nonetheless, it was pretty awesome.
Definitely. So how is this character different from other ones that you played? I know we've seen you in a lot of Disney projects like Raven's Home and Sydney to the Max. How is Andreas different than your other characters?
Well, besides his ability to fly, he's like I said earlier, more reserved. He's less open to the people around him, and in my character in Raven's Home, he's really involved in the school environment. But here at Sage Academy, Andres is set himself apart. He set himself apart from the other kids, and I think that's probably the big difference is just in his attitude towards the people around him.
And definitely, and your other Disney projects were like episodes and TV shows. How is filming a movie different for you?
The energy of the scenes was really different because it's not a sitcom. It's a movie with less situational comedy, and so the way we had to like manifest the energy, I don't know, it was just the whole kind of environment was very different from being on a set, in a warehouse with like for on Raven's Home and Sydney to the Max. But I still liked it. It was really fun.
That's amazing. And of course, do you have any other DComs that you've liked growing up?
Yeah, I like Teen Beach 2 because of the songs and Tanner and Layla. And then Lemonade Mouth is another one of my favorites.
You mentioned that you balanced school while filming the movie. What was that like for you?
It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. When they told us that we had to do school, I was kind of sad, hoping I would get out of that for a while. But getting to do school with my classmates in our little trailer, and we had an amazing set teacher, and he made things really better for us, I think, and easier to manage this school and stuff. But it was easy being in an environment where I was comfortable working and where I could focus. And for the most part, we were pretty focused all the time, unless we had to go to set or whatever. But I think we were pretty efficient, hopefully.
And you mentioned that you're really close with your castmates. Did you guys hang out when you were in shooting, and have you stayed in touch, like contact with them during the quarantine?
Yeah, definitely. We hung out in each other's hotel rooms sometimes if we weren't shooting separately or it was a shorter day. We like to hang out, watch movies, and explore. Like I said, explore the city together. And after the movie, besides the promo stuff that we did and the Zoom calls, we stayed in touch. I think we've done a couple FaceTime calls, and we've been texting. So yeah, we've maintained a relationship.
That's a lot of fun. Do you have a favorite scene that you filmed?
Yeah, Founders Day for sure. Because I don't know, it's just where the whole movie comes together, and you see everybody fighting with their own abilities. And we all got to shoot together for one of the first times, I think, during shooting. So yeah, it was just a fun experience all around.
That's amazing. And you've done such amazing projects for like your time in acting so far. What made you want to be an actor?
Uh, I grew up watching movies, and one of my favorite things about the movies, besides the actual plot itself, was watching the behind the scenes, watching the actors work and the blooper reels that they made, and watching the crew and the cast work together and having that relationship forming a kind of family, I think was one of the big factors that made me want to be an actor. Just one of the things, but yeah, that's the first thing that comes to mind.
And you've definitely been a part of the Disney family for a while now. If you could like guest star or be on another Disney Channel show, which one would you want that to be? Or maybe in another DCOM?
I like Descendants because it's a group of kids and it's got that musical twist on it, and so I think that'd be fun to work on,
Definitely.
to have gone to.
Are you a singer yourself, or is music something you want to pursue, or just for acting for now?
Well, I play the drums, so I'm musically inclined in that area, but I don't consider myself to be a singer, or I don't plan on going anywhere with that. But I mean, who knows? Maybe
I don't know.
maybe someday.
And UpsideDown Magic recently kind of released on Disney Channel. What has the fan reaction been like for you since the movie debuted?
Thankfully, really positive. I'm really glad that a lot of people like the movie, and I really hope that the messages were well received too, because there was a lot of morally uplifting messages in the movie. And so yeah, I mean, as far as I've seen, all the reception has been really good, really positive.
That's amazing. And from being on with like the Disney family and working on this movie, what was like the biggest lesson that you've learned, maybe both for like professionally and acting and then personally?
Professionally, just know that, I mean, I learned that hard work does pay off, obviously, because I can't even count on one hand the amount of auditions, or two hands the amount of auditions that um, I've not gotten called back for. Um, but yeah, so hard work pays off for sure, because I mean, I got to film Upside Down Magic, and that's awesome. Personally, something I learned in the movie is that relationships are really, they're so important if you're going to be working with a group of people,
Mhm.
because if you don't have a good relationship with those people, then it's going to show, in your work, or how you act, or so maintaining a good relationship, like I've done with the cast of Upside Down Magic, is, I think, really important for that line of work.
Very true. And lastly, where can fans follow you on social media and stay connected with you for all your like your upcoming projects and things like that?
I have an Instagram, which is just Max Torina, and then I made a Twitter account that I'm not so active on, but I'll still tweet stuff out occasionally when something comes to mind, and that's Max_Torina. But yeah,
I'll take a look and be sure to let the fans know. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me today. I really appreciate your time.
yeah. Thank you for having me. It was great to meet you.